Hello, it's Saturday, August the 1st. Take time for rest and restoration. Now, this sounds like a good one, doesn't it? Who doesn't want rest? Isaiah chapter 40, verses 30 and 31 says, "Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." We all know that it's good to rest so that we don't wear out. God created. He spent the first 6 days creating, and he rested on the seventh. Now, if God, who is all-powerful, took a day to rest, it's not that he needed to, but he took a day to rest. What's he trying to tell us? He's saying, I created you. I know how you work. You need to take some time to rest. So these verses tell us something about resting. First thing, it tells us that not only older people need rest. It says, even youths grow tired and weary. We need to listen to our bodies. And when our bodies are telling us to start complaining too much, we need to listen and rest. So it's not just the older people, but all of us need to learn how to rest. And that those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. Philippians chapter 4, verse 13 says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. God gives us rest when we need it and gives us the strength that we need to keep going and to be faithful. God will help us to keep going even when it's difficult, even when we're tired, even when we're ready to give up. He'll give us the strength that we need. And then he says we will soar on wings like eagles. Have you ever wanted to be an eagle or a bird and fly up? Wouldn't that be something? Did you know that eagles know how to soar without flapping their wings? They fly up about so high, and then what they do is they kind of cup their wings and they catch the air currents that are rising. And it just takes them higher and higher and higher till they go just out of sight. And all that with no effort on their part. They're just coasting, they're soaring. In the same way, when we rest, sometimes we're feeling like I'm not getting anything done. I got to get busy. When we rest, what we're doing is allowing God to re-energize us so that we can function even better. And it's sometimes it seems hard. Sometimes it seems like we're wasting time when we're resting. Now, there's a difference between sitting around and doing nothing and resting. There's a difference. So be sure that we take advantage of the resting time and that we don't waste that resting time. Proverbs 3, verses 5 and 6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Don't depend on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. As you take that time and rest, God's going to direct you in the best way to do things. And then what's going to happen is you're actually going to get more done by resting than you would if you would have kept going. You say, I don't know about that. Well, there was a man, he was a pastor, and he was a retired pastor, and he went around speaking at places. And he had been speaking this one place and didn't have much chance to rest. And getting on the plane, he was looking so forward, just taking a nap. But there was a guy next to him who was very, very talkative. He didn't get a nap. So his plane finally arrived, but it arrived late and was immediately picked up by a church member and whisked off and was off to a church where he was supposed to speak in a few minutes. So he got up and he spoke, and he felt tired. He felt yucky. He was exhausted. He had been speaking at this one place. He wanted to rest on the plane. He couldn't. Plane was late. They grabbed him, rushed him to the church so he'd be there in time to speak. He did, and he was spent. And as soon as service was over, what did they do? They grabbed him, took him to the foyer, and there was a reception line where people came by and greeted him and just told him what a great job he did, and they just wanted to meet him. And he's thinking the last thing, what he wanted to do right then was just go somewhere and lay down and sleep. And so it's getting near the end of the line, and he's thinking, finally. I don't know if I can last. There's this big guy, and then there's somebody behind the big guy. And as the big guy shakes his hand, tells him how much he appreciates him, steps up, the guy sees the next one is his daughter. She lives several hours away, but she heard that he was going to be speaking at that church. And so she borrowed somebody's car and drove several hours to see her dad. Wow. Suddenly, he gave her a hug and says, "Come on, hon, let's go get something to eat." So they went and got something to eat, and they talked. They talked for hours. Where did he get this energy? He was almost spent. He was ready to give up. He was tired. He was beat. He couldn't walk another step. But yet he saw his daughter. And what did that do? Boom, that energy. He was re-energized. And see, that's what God does for us. When we are spent and we don't have any strength left in us, and we look to God, He'll give us that strength. He'll give us that energy that we need. It'll come from a place we don't have no idea where it comes from. Take time for rest and restoration. And if God wants to keep you going, He'll give you the strength to keep going, just like He did that guy. But in the meantime, He wants us to be sure to take time to rest. Why? So that we perform the very best that we can. Hope you have a good weekend. Hope you get a lot done. Hope you also get some rest. And hope to see you tomorrow in church.